I was trying to get my phone out of my pocket. A Skinwalker. Man, I got chills. A Skinwalker just took off from the yard and was limping. I heard a voice say, "Did you miss me?" And I ignored it. And then it just silently just limped off. I mean, it was larger than any wolf could possibly be. And it went right through there. And it saw me. And I froze. See, I'm running the truck right behind me, and I froze. And it took off limping. And it was a very large wolf, and started to get up on 2 feet. And whew, man, it started to get up on 2 feet. It was a ghost wolf. It was as plain as day, got right in front of me, but it did not want to be on recording. I decided, I tried to get my phone out of my pocket. Man, I'm still shaky. I was this close from here to the road to a Skinwalker. And I didn't look it directly in the eyes. It stared right at me with a death stare. And I turned my light off. And it turned around right at me. And I spotlighted it. And I didn't look it right in the eyes as I was spotlighting it. And then it was the largest wolf I've ever seen in my life. And then it went right through the neighbor's fence at the barn. It went right through it. I'm talking just like a ghost. Walked right through it. Turned back around and looked at me. Turned into a deer type of shape, and then took off up the hill. So that's what's been making the loud howling sounds. It just went right toward his barn and just disappeared, went right up to the hill and just went, I guess, through a portal. I don't know. But it was right in front of me, and these things can move. I'm talking move so quick. I was this close to, from here to the road, right here where you see the road where I'm at? I'm right here at the road, and it was this close to me. The thing got out, and honest to the Lord, honest to the Lord, I'm telling you, in all honesty, I saw a Skinwalker right in front of me. It stopped right there. It didn't make any noise, and it was not trying to be frightening to me, and it was not trying to, but it was looking at me like, you feel a piercingness. It's hard to explain, but you feel a piercingness as it's looking back at you. A large wolf, a Timberwolf-sized dog wolf. And then it turned around and stared at me, and when it stared at me, you get the feeling like leaving me like it was almost like not a frightening. I mean, it startled me, made me very nervous, but I kept my ground, and it just stared at me like it was in shock that I could see it. It just gave me a look like, you're not supposed to see me. And because I saw it acted like it came up out of something, and just like it just appeared out of nowhere and started limping, and it was gray and black, a gray and black wolf, but very large, and there's some eyes looking at me right now. But it turned around with these glowing green eyes, and then turned around, it just stared at me for 20 seconds, and I made sure not to look at it in the eyes. And people might be asking me right now, well, why didn't you get your phone out? Well, guess what? When you're staring face to face with a giant wolf, it wasn't a coyote, it was way too large, and it stared at me. And as it stared at me, and I stared at it, it was aware. It looked at me like, how do you see me? And went right through the fence. I'm talking walked, just hopped right through the fence. No need for going underneath it or around it. It went through the fence. And honestly, it looked at me just like, and then it just, it's hard to explain how it took off. It gave me chills when I seen it. I've never seen one in such physical form like that. And then it looked at me, stared at me with piercing eyes, greenish yellow actually, it had greenish yellow eyes. And it was like it really wasn't intending to bother me. It stayed at the road and looked at me like, because it saw me. I had the truck running. I've got the truck running right behind me here, and I was just spotlighting them down there in the yard, and then it takes off running and stares at me just like, how do you see me? Like you're aware. And then I realize, turn the light off. I turned my headband light off and didn't want to let it know. I acted like that I don't know, something told me just turn the headband light off. And I didn't look it directly in the eyes. And then it went right through that fence line, right through the fence. And then just went up around through there and went up the hill. Alright, signing out. Now there's eyes looking at me from the top of the barn. Whew, I was that close. That thing could have completely just... That thing was so large, but it didn't seem mean, but it was so large it could have... And then it just limped off. And then just turned into something else, and then the tail disappeared. It acted like it was going to, if it hadn't seen me, it was going to get up and run away on 2 feet, but it didn't. And then it went right through the fence line, and then it just stared back at me like, stay where you're at, and then walked off and vanished. They're around. I wish I had recorded it, but I couldn't get the phone. The last thought I had was grab my phone. It was the last thing on my mind as I was staring at it. And then I grabbed my phone out of my pocket. By the time I did, it was too late. But honest to the Lord, it was right in front of me. Peace. It happened right at 3:15. Signing out.